Welcome to this Portmaster FAQ. Today I'm going to show you how to remotely connect to your device where Portmaster is installed. To do this, make sure that Enable Remote Desktop is enabled in your Windows settings. After that, you know maybe from the past that you can connect via this device name, but to make things simpler and more predictable, I'd like you to, for this purposes, use your IPv4 address. How to figure out what your IPv4 address is? Click on your network connection. This can either be wireless or can be wired. And then in those connections, scroll down. And here you see your IPv4 address. This is the address you will have to connect to from your remote device. So your other PC or mobile phone you want to connect into your Windows machine with Portmaster installed. How to do this now for Portmaster? This is fairly easy, and it is a multi-step process, so bear with me. What we are going to do is open Portmaster up as wide as possible, allow the connection in, look where the connection is connecting to, and then lock it back down. Allow those connections and then lock it back down. How do we open Portmaster? Well, by default, and this is the reason why Remote Desktop breaks if you install Portmaster for the first time. By default, we force block incoming connections. This is in global settings, the one setting. If this is toggled on, which it is by default, other devices cannot initiate a connection onto your device. This is super useful because most of the time you don't want other devices on your network to connect into your device. So Portmaster is blocking that. But with this one easy click, now everything is game again and you can connect to it. I quickly open up the remote desktop on my second device here. And you basically just have to trust me, but I put in the IP address of this device, and I'm going to connect. I had to put in the password and the username, and here we are. The connection had been established. This is the reason why it locked me out. And I now log back in, so the remote connection was disabled. But that was enough for me to now, when I go into network activity, remove the scope internet, add the scope inbound. I can now see an incoming connection to my device. It helps when I know what IP address the remote computer had. So what I would do is group by, let's just copy this IP address first. I know that it is that one. Hit Control, then you can click to copy, and then put in here IP, put in the IP address, and filter for this IP address. Now I only see all incoming connections from that IP address. I can group by app, and I see what applications were accessed through that incoming IP address. What I now want to do is make sure that I enable this IP address to be incoming even when I lock back down Portmaster. For that, quick reminder, every profile setting overrules global settings. So if I now go in here and app settings, if this by default would be use global settings, so it would be turned off. But if I now turn it on, I override it as an app specific configuration. Now it would be turned on, but I'm going to turn it off. And then what I can also do is force block internet access, for instance. Then I make sure that this cannot be accessed incoming from the from the internet. I can go more advanced by enabling only this one IP address, but that works like this. Then I go back. I can just hit back on my mouse, and I can enable this connection here as well. App settings, and again, app specific. If this is not blue, toggle it on and toggle it off again, and then it works. And then again, make sure that all the network noise you can leave off. Make sure that all the apps you see which have been accessed are like this, app specific and allowed. Windows service down here, app settings, yeah, and allowed. What you can then do is go back to global settings, force block incoming connections, allow, like force block it, everything, and I can connect again via remote desktop. And we got thrown out again because the remote connection was established. What we just did was, as a recap, we allowed all incoming connections from anywhere. This is not like, this is how your device is before installing Portmaster anyway. So Portmaster is increasing your protection by doing this. But it is not too scary if you're in a safe environment. I would not recommend, I would not recommend allowing incoming connections for devices you don't know anyway. So we went in, we allowed everything. Then we connected in. We looked in with the remote device, and then we found the connection which has been coming in. For that, we went into the network monitor. We deleted the internet scope, added the inbound scope, so we only see incoming connections. We identified the specific IP address that the remote connection has, like the other PC I wanted to connect from to this PC. Then I grouped by app. This makes it just easier for me to see what applications actually were required for establishing the remote desktop session. And then I went into all of these applications and I configured fairly easily with clicking on it and then go into app settings. And the minimum I have to do is toggle this twice so that it is app specific, that it overrules the global setting, because if I hit global setting here, it's turned on now. So app specific, I can toggle this even if the connection is still running. I could do this on the remote connection, of course, as well, but for recording purposes, I'm doing it on the main machine. Like while the remote connection is active, I say you can do it through that. But I disconnected the remote connection and did it locally here. And you can increase your security by disabling force block internet access again. This makes it fairly easy. You should make sure that those services don't need internet access, or that you don't require them to have internet access, because the force block settings always overrule the rules. So if you want then to add specific domains again, that's not working. You would have to go into advanced and go some deeper. I might do another video on this, but this toggling those switches, the one and the one up here, for added security, so that only those applications that need the inbound connections over LAN are allowed to have them. This is the best way to do it and the fastest. I hope this answered your question. Please ask follow-up questions in the description below, in the comments below. I can do another video, of course. I want to do those more frequently now, those FAQ videos, just to make sure that we cover most of the stuff that you are asking and to improve upon this and do quicker videos more often. And I hope I get less rambly in the future as well, but this has been the first one because I got so frustrated. This is so easy. I just wanted to make a video so that it's for everybody to understand. And if you don't find it easy, if you have recommendations what we can improve, please be my guest. The reason why we're not making this like a one-click thing is because, first of all, if we would have the resources, we probably would. But second of all, this is such a niche use case. Not a lot of people are connecting to their devices remote. The majority of people, my mom, should have all inbound connections blocked. That's just the default. And I would wager your mom as well. So the default for Portmaster is people who are aware of technology, want to get more private, and this is the reason for our focus that this setting is a little bit more complicated. So to make everything else easier, that's the trade-off we made. We understand that some of you are more technical, but we are very we think that you can do those easy steps, enabling all incoming connections and then enabling finding the right ones, just enable those and then go back and disable it for your whole system. As a reminder, or maybe just at the end here as a tidbit, if you keep this setting disabled at a point, I think once per week, Portmaster will alert you and will tell you that this is a dangerous setting and that you should re-enable it. Again, the reason for that, incoming connections are not a good thing. You don't want incoming connections into your device. This is how viruses spread. This is lateral movement within a network for threats and stuff like that. So just keeping that on is a good thing. And stay safe, stay private, and see you in the next one. Bye.